the 1NR reads this like Russia sphere of influence impact, which your 1AC evidence about the Iran war from the entanglement advantage, I believe, makes this like Russia fill-in stuff, which means that you get the internal link to that impact, so you can kind of do something cool with that. Yeah, and that's how you make this a real argument.
Go ahead.
Okay. I really don't have a whole lot to add from what Dylan said. My decision was the same. I have the same kind of strategic comments for the 1AR. I think also maybe something you want to include in the 1AR is like, since the impact to the disad, I guess this wouldn't really apply to the Russia stuff, but in a world where they don't read this Russia stuff, you could maybe make an argument about how conceding all the defense on case would also like substantially mitigate the impact of the disad, since it's just about Middle Eastern instability, and the path of escalation for that impact is likely like a war with Iran. And then create a distinction between the like Iran war defense that you've conceded and your scenario. I think that distinction is like their Iran war defense is like it doesn't escalate between Iran and Saudi Arabia, which means there's no opportunity for the U.S. to get drawn in. But then your impact is about the United States first striking Saudi Arabia, which is distinct, which means they would only apply to their scenario on the disad, but not to the The only other thing I have to add is I think this is a really good and really important kind of like learning moment about seeing, like making sure that you know what every plank of every counterplan does in the 2AC, because I think this strategy is a lot more viable if you both incorporate everything that Dylan said about the 1AR, but also just have like, just say like, no, you obviously can't fiat out of our impacts in a counterplan. That's like the most abusive thing in the world. So I think if you just like catch this super cheaty plank, make a pretty quick theory argument that's just like, it's abusive to counterplan out of our impacts, pretty much any judge is going to be like, yeah, that's super abusive, you can't do that. And then the path to victory for the 2NR is way less clear, and they're going to have to do a lot more work given this one.
I thought this was a really good debate. I think it shows incredible instincts from the app to understand that the path to victory was not necessarily the one you started with. And I really want you to understand how well that will serve you in the future. I think execution-wise, there were a few things. Conditionality, there were a few drops, topic bias, and this innovation argument, and stuff like that. The other suggestion would be, I would just go for conditionality in the 2AR. Your biggest advantage here is that I do think the 2NR could have spent a lot more time on conditionality and to exploit that time, and you just weren't going to win the other stuff. And so understanding that and giving yourself another minute or two of explanation will tip the balance in some of those important debates. So that's a suggestion. As far as my other suggestion, I loved looking for an out. I just, after the block, immediately thought of a different one, which I thought the block was great. I thought the 2NC was fire. I mean, college ready, just great 2NC. The one thing after the block in my mind was there was one offensive argument, and this great 2NC that was just destroying their case was leading them to one option in my mind, which was like 5 minutes of pro list good, because you impact her in the 2AC with one card, you read like 2 more cards. To me, do what you did, pick the case, 5 minutes of turns, and you're right back in this. It's not pretty, but that's a tough 2NR to give if done right. And maybe you're not quite ready to do that yet, but if you're going to impact turn something, you should understand that there are circumstances where you may have to do that. But that was just kind of my other strategic thought. And like I said, Nag, I thought this was really well deployed. My little thing about the 2NR was you could have won the substance in half the time, and you need to understand that the right move for the 2AR was to spend 5 minutes on conditionality, so you need to be serious about that. The dispo thing, that it's funny, but like you gotta do that with you know.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to add to anything that they said. I'll probably say that maybe the better, as far as conditionality goes, I agree with everything they said. Part of this is also just kind of, you gotta sell this too. I mean, you seem very defeatist in the 2AR, and I get it. Things aren't going well, but you've just gotta, you've gotta stand up there like the greatest injustice ever perpetrated in a debate happened in this round by them reading conditionality. And I just didn't get any of that, and so I think maybe this was an opportunity to really grab the ethos moment and try to sell it. You never know. The other thing I might say is international fiat might have been the better call than conditionality. I don't know, but especially I need to make this argument. This is like a multi-actor international counter plan, and I think that's maybe a little bit of an easier get than conditionality could be. So maybe think about that. But as far as the rest of the substance, I agree with them, and especially Dave's kind of point that Prolif was the place to go, simply because then you didn't have to worry about spotting them that disad. And last thing, I guess, Ethan, right. There's a difference between kicking out that case and kicking out of the plan, so you do need to answer that disad. And you had some things you could have extended and tried to make a little bit of inroads in there. But bold move. I love that you saw that you had to do something and you did it. And I think they said it, whoever said it, this is a great learning moment, and you're just going to get better from this experience. So good job.
Going last